Okay, so I'm just going to talk about kind of a general question because I think a lot of people are kind of wondering about questions like this, and it's really easy when you're in the weeds to not have the macro view and not be able to really kind of crystallize just kind of basic business questions that we're all asking, that we kind of go down a path and we forget that there's like a lot of different scenarios and options out there. So the question is, like, what's the best way to make money in the App Store right now, right? It's December 2014. What's the best way to do it? And there's a lot of different ways, and obviously the market changes a lot. That's why we have Blue Cloud Select. So I want to run through 3 different scenarios for 3 different people, and I think that's going to encompass about 90% of you out there, if not 95%. And every one of you is going to be able to get an idea about this. Now remember, there's no, like, I can't tell you, use this ad network right now and you'll make the most money. That's not how it works, and that's never how it's going to work in the App Store again. Okay, it's the market's too big for that. The only thing that's going to work is running it like a business and having the right models in place, like knowing how to match your budget and your skill set to a solution, right? That's how you're going to make the money. So there's 3 different scenarios here. Person 1, okay, you're starting out. A lot of people who email me, they say like, hey, I'm just getting into this. I read some blog posts. I want to get into reskinning. I want to check this out. I don't really know what's going on in the App Store. I don't have much money to spend. What do I do? How do I make money? And so what you do is you get the source codes and you focus on things like casino games. You focus on ads, and you try to get the volume by getting a ton of apps in the store. And you know, what's typically going to happen is you're going to launch like 30 apps, and maybe 4 of them are going to get a shitload of volume, and that's going to cover all the rest of the ones that didn't. That's just how it goes with any sort of competitive market. And you're going to do most of this yourself. You're not going to wake up and hire anyone because you just don't have any money. And the number one thing to remember is you're looking to make money. When you make money, you have to make more than you spend. So your ROI is going to come from low cost, not from revenue. That is the number one thing that people do not remember when they're starting out and when they have a small budget and they don't really know what's going on. They think, how can I get the most money coming into my bank account? They don't think about what's the least way I can get the least cost going out. Okay, that is the biggest difference. That's the difference between a successful business and an unsuccessful business starting off. You don't think about how to make more money. You think about how do I cut my costs relentlessly. And that's exactly what source codes and doing it yourself is going to do. So that's the number one. When you talk about making money, you focus on the basic business models, but you focus on doing it yourself, getting money through ads, and just slowly eking it out. Because I can almost guarantee you that if you buy a source code and you do this, and you do everything yourself, and you look at what happens over the course of a year, and let's say you make $300 on that, you're going to be profitable. Now, obviously, you're not going to quit your job over that, but that is a profitable business, and that's all that matters. And then you scale it from there. So that's number 1. Number 2, person B, you're starting out, you have a big budget, and you have medium knowledge. Like typically, this happens like, hey, I'm a small business owner. Or I'm from the internet marketing world, or I'm a smart person and I want to get into apps. I've got some money to spend and I kind of know what I'm doing. Like I get it, right? Like I understand how this works, but what do I do? Like I've never done the app business. So what I say to them is, okay, you want to make money, right? So your best business, your best structure is going to be use bigger source codes. Like don't start building your own stuff quite yet. Use source codes, use things that are already built because the cost is going to be lower, and also it's going to be proven. Like you're going to know basic metrics going into that. You'll also, because you already know kind of how to run a business and you've been listening on these Blue Cloud Select things, focus on your update strategy. Focus on what you're going to want to do 6 months from now and how is it going to work. Because that is going to be a very cost-effective way to make money using your knowledge and things like that. 80% of your revenue is still going to come from ads. That's just how it's going to be for now, because you haven't gotten to the point where you can make that shift over to in-app purchases yet. You don't understand how they all work yet, which is totally fine. But remember that ads are still going to bring in the money. I would definitely focus on casino. That's where all the money is. And you're going to hire some people. Now this can be a developer, it can be a designer, it can be someone who gives you advice, it can be a mastermind group, it can be anything. But you're going to want to hire people to get knowledge into this system, But this is kind of the next step after having just a bunch of small source codes that you do yourself to keep the cost really low. And your ROI is going to come from lower relative costs and medium revenue. What I mean by that is like you're still going to want to have low costs, but but compared to person A, it's going to be more money. It's just going to be, let's say you make $5,000 a month, you're going to spend $4 versus I'm going to make $500 a month and spend $400. It's just, it's a lower relative cost, but you're just operating at a higher level. And that's how you make money when you're person B. Okay, and now person C has been in the game for a long time. You've been doing this for a year or two. You've got a medium budget, you've got some money to spend, and you know your shit. Like you're smart, you know what's going on. And you're asking yourself, all right, well, I'm a smart person. I know about apps. I get it. I've been reskinning. I've been building apps. Like, what do I do now? And the answer is that you use bigger source codes, that you customize, or you do custom development. And that's the key here. That is the difference between person B and person C is the customization and the custom development. Like you're either going to start building your own apps or you're going to start taking source codes and you're going to know exactly how to make them way better. Okay, that's the difference between someone who walks into the internet and takes a website template and just redoes the graphics, and someone who comes in and says like, I'm going to hire a developer to run some API calls and change the custom development and make it customized for exactly what I want to do. That's the difference between you and person B, okay, is your knowledge. That's your competitive advantage, and the knowledge comes from how you customize those games. So you do that. You have an awesome update strategy that feeds off that customization idea, the ability to make better products, like understand what the consumer needs, and understand marketing techniques, things like that. You want to have a huge customer feedback loop. You want to be able to handle the inbound support. You want to have focus on one app that has a lot of people commenting on your Facebook wall, who's emailing you, who's letting you know, hey, this sucks, or hey, this is awesome, or hey, I wish this would do this. That's what's going to be big for you, and hiring someone to help you out with that. You're going to focus on the in-app purchase on the whale. That's going to be your number one focus. Now, that's not going to make you money up front, but it will make you a lot of money in a year or two, which seems like a lifetime, I know, but that is where your focus is going to be. That's why you're customizing it. Remember, your knowledge is always your hedge. That's your competitive advantage, and that's why you can rise above this, because other people don't know how to do that. You can do things like offer walls where you can kind of blend the ad in-app purchase world, and you can also kind of curate whales that way. And then the ads coming in that should have put in the rest, not the real. So ads coming in from the rest of the people, right? You'll still make a bunch of money on ads, but your focus will be on in-app purchases, even though it's not going to make you money at first. You're going to focus on the internal marketing and focusing on the people, the users within your app, and not just like how many downloads, how much ad traffic can I get. And remember, so your ROI is going to come from lifetime value and average revenue per user. Same type, basically the same thing. Is how can I give each user the most value? How can I get them to use the game or the app the most? And that is how you make money. It's not going to happen overnight, but honestly, no business does happen overnight. And that's what you guys are running. You're running a business now. You're not running a little hobby that's going to make you a cool little side passive income. You are running a legit company. And that's how companies are built. And it takes a couple of years to get a company like that profitable. But once you do, it's highly scalable because it works. And you just scale it that way. So those are the three ways. When you're thinking about making money with apps, those are the three exact models that work based on where you are in the system. And then everything, honestly, everything within those models, whether you're A, B, or C, just comes down to testing and working harder and cutting your costs. And when you don't have a keyword that's working, it's relentlessly building more apps and researching more and working the nights and weekends and every hour you can to get it to work, because it's possible to make it work. It's just not going to be easy for any of these, but it is very, very, very possible. And that's the number one thing to remember.